The RAF Red Arrows doing what they do best, wowing the crowds with their aerobatic display team. But their residence has been a talking point for years now, with many campaigning to keep them in Lincolnshire, as their current home at RAF Scampton will be closing in 2022. And today, after years of waiting, the MOD announced they're staying in the county, but will be moving to RAF Waddington, just 11 miles south from Scampton.
Well, it's great news. It's been a long campaign that many of us have been involved with to ensure that the Red Arrows stayed in Lincolnshire. We're very pleased to have heard that news today from the MOD. So it's a shame, obviously, that RAF Scampton is due to close in a couple of years' time, but with that closure, the Red Arrows had to move to somewhere suitable for them to be based. For the news today, for it to be RAF Waddington that's been chosen rather than the other alternatives that were mooted, is good news for Lincolnshire and for Lincoln.
The fate of the aerobatic display team's new home was between three bases: RAF Waddington, RAF Leeming in North Yorkshire and RAF Wittering in Cambridgeshire. The decision means that the Red Arrows will be able to utilise Scampton's airspace, and many residents will be able to hold on to their jobs.
Indeed, the airspace is obviously going to be utilised as it has been for the past couple of decades above RAF Scampton, and obviously that was maybe one of the reasons why RAF Waddington perhaps turned out to be the favourite, and ultimately was the decision that was made was to base the Red Arrows here at RAF Waddington, because they can very easily still utilise that airspace above RAF Scampton. For the people who directly work with the Red Arrows, they're obviously going to be looking at working in a different space here at RAF Waddington rather than at RAF Scampton, but it should mean that there would be least disruption to them and their personal family lives. Same for the pilots and for future pilots with the Red Arrows maybe.
During a time of uncertainty, the news that the Red Arrows will be moving to Waddington was welcomed by the local residents here.
It's fantastic news. They should technically stay at Scampton, but if they have to go anywhere, Waddington's the best place, since they're closing Scampton.
It's excellent news, because that is the home for the Royal Air Force in Lincolnshire, and the fact that they're staying here is even better.
It's fantastic news, really. Been at Scampton for all these years and staying over the skies of Lincolnshire and keeping the crew together locally would be an amazing event. Followed them for years, from the Nats through to the Hawks, so it's good news, really. Just hope they do the right thing to Scampton Air Base.
Whilst it's great news for RAF Waddington, RAF Scampton is still set to close in 2022. And taking a look back at its iconic history is Hannah King.
When you hear the engine start, everyone goes for a walk.
Particularly in lockdown, everyone's out in their gardens. You can get some really beautiful views of all their stunts and things, so yeah, we're lucky.
That's what Scampton's for, isn't it? Is the Red Arrows, really.
Yeah.
RAF Scampton first opened its gates in 1916, making it one of the RAF's oldest stations. Twice in its past, it's been home to the Red Arrows, first from 1983 to 95, when the base actually closed for the first time and the Reds moved temporarily to Cranwell. But in the year 2000, it reopened, and they've been here ever since. Recognised and respected the world over, the Red Arrows are the RAF's flagship air display team. They were formed in 1964 when the RAF decided to amalgamate all its display teams into one. The team consists of 9 pilots who fly in their trademark diamond display in BAE Systems Hawk jets, reaching maximum speeds of 645 miles per hour. They've flown almost 5,000 displays in 57 countries. Their motto, quite simply, means excellence. In the first season of 1965, the team performed 65 shows. Such was their popularity that in the 70s, the Red Arrows travelled thousands of miles to North America, where millions came to watch.
The day after arrival, the team gave its first performance. Takeoff from the long, wide runway was spectacular.
RAF Scampton, the station famous for its role in the 1943 Dambusters raid, became the team's new home in 1983.
We're quite privileged because we get a private, little show as well. So we can see it sitting in our front room.
Yeah, they literally come over the house. So
my mum's a nurse and does night shifts, so If you asked her on a day when she was trying to sleep, she wouldn't say she was a fan.
My gran was a massive fan, so I'd sit in the garden with her. And
well, Gran used to serve teas and stuff up there.
Yeah, at the NAFI during the war. So yeah,
a bit like the end of an era then.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it will be sad.
Yeah.
Now we'll just have to get on the internet and find out when they're leaving Waddington and be in position for possibly the 22 minutes display that they normally do. It's just brilliant that the team are staying in Lincolnshire. That's the main thing.
Yeah, and they'll still be flying over your pub.
They'll still be flying over the pub.
The local council are currently looking at possible future uses for the base. The RAF say they're keen to preserve its heritage. And while Scampton are sad to see the Red Arrows go, they won't disappear from the county skies. Their engines will still be heard, whether the residents like it or not.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.